Family. It's your man IPO Mase, and welcome back to another episode of Godly Wisdom. So thankful to have you, as well as grateful that you decided to spend some time with me to hear what the Lord is saying. Today, I want to talk about an important question that one should ask itself when going through this journey that we call life. Today, I want to ask, who are you? Who are you? Family, I want to start this message off today with a passage that I was reading. Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 5 through 9. And it says, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet to the nations. O sovereign Lord, I said, I can't speak for you. I'm too young. And the Lord replied, don't say I'm too young, for you must go wherever I send you and say whatever I tell you. And don't be afraid of the people, for I will be with you and protect you. I, the Lord, have spoken. Then the Lord reached out and touched my mouth and said, look, I have put my words in your mouth. Now, beloved, I'm sure we can all agree that we've all been a Jeremiah at some point in our life. Now, if you don't know who Jeremiah is, Jeremiah was essentially one of the prophets, the messenger for God during the old times. And it was his job to convey extremely important messages and direction from God himself to the people of Israel. But as we back up and God lets Jeremiah know, he says, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb, and I set you apart as my prophets to the nations. Essentially, he was saying to Jeremiah that you have already been built in for the plan. Now, I think that's pretty deep. The fact that God saw Jeremiah as a necessity and said, I already knew you. I created you for this time. And like some of us sometimes, when God gives us something or God tells us something about ourselves, oftentimes we are reluctant or we don't view ourselves as how God views ourselves. Now, could you imagine God telling you that I'm going to use you as my speaker and you're going to speak worldwide my messages, my instructions, everything concerning the earth? I'm going to use you, your voice, to execute it. And Jeremiah, being a young fella, he said, Lord, how can I accomplish this? I'm just a child. But God understood and he realized what he already deposited in Jeremiah. This actually takes me back to my childhood. Now, some of you may know or don't know, but my mother was a evangelist, a elder, an ordained minister, a prophet. She was everything under the sun when it came to God's kingdom and the church. And me having two siblings, older siblings rather, that was above me, and her finding the Lord near rather when she had me, I got all the brunt and all the glory of being in the church. And and essentially what I mean by that is the church was literally my second home. I would go to choir rehearsals. I would go to revivals. She would even allow those old ladies to put smelly oil on my face. And they would begin to pray and speak in these tongues that I really didn't know. And to be honest, as a kid, I thought my mama was crazy. But literally, or rather, little did I know, she was prepping me for something as a kid. Now, I don't know why, but she saw fit that she would need to carry me everywhere she went because she saw that I was going to be used in a mighty way for God. And me being young and me being naive and me just wanting to be a kid, I was trying to run. People would tell me, "You're going to be a preacher." I said, "I don't want to be a preacher. I want to be a basketball player." But they could see something in me that I couldn't see within myself. Lesson 1. Have the vision to see yourself in a greater light. I say this because I believe if God had not told Jeremiah who he was, he would have missed his calling. Some of us right now are struggling as we navigate through this time that we call life. We have all these questions and doubts about ourselves. We lack the confidence because we truly don't understand who we are. We think, okay, well, I know for a fact that, I got this degree. I feel as though I'm supposed to be in business. I love helping people. And with the ignorance of not consulting the Most High God, we don't essentially receive revelation or message on who we are. I'm victim to that. I took a spiritual gifting test a few weeks ago, and I was surprised at the discovery of what the information read about my life. They told me that I had a gift of teaching. I had a gift of prophecy. I had a gift of knowledge, wisdom, and exhortation. Now, to break that down, exhortation just means a gift of encouragement. Leadership is someone that can lead a people to promise. They can essentially help them become better version of themselves and achieve the goals and tasks assigned to them. Wisdom, of course, is a form of knowledge. It's the understanding and comprehension on understanding and breaking down the word of the living God. And as I stand here before you, or rather as you listen to my voice, I realize I was a manifestation of my mother's words. She would often call me bishop, prophet, preacher, minister. She would say all these things to me, and she would essentially create the environment for them to come to pass. Can I give you some game? as a parent, your job is to cultivate, to grow, and to make sure that you raise the best human being possible so that they can be not only a difference maker, but an ambassador of change. If I haven't left something in my children, if I haven't cared, if I haven't taught, if they're not prepared on when I leave this earth, that means as a father, I've done a poor job. And I believe right now, as I'm speaking, that the reason why your life has flowed the way that it has is because God wanted to make sure that the conditions were conducive to your destiny. You need to ask yourself, who are you? I believe you are a secret weapon, a master that will be well utilized for your people. But one must have wisdom and awareness to seek out who you are. As I come to a close, go on spiritualgifttest.com and take the test. But the main thing I want to tell you is spend time with the manufacturer that created you out of the dust of the earth. Your career is one thing, but your life, your calling, your design is another. It's IPO Mase. It's been another episode of Godly Wisdom. Peace.